It has nothing to do with Aspinall or Pereira or anybody. It was the White House. The idea of being a part of something so historical means more to me than...
Jon Jones finally opens up about the Tom Aspinall fight drama and explains why he didn't go through with the bout. The former heavyweight champion also reveals why he turned down a $30 million offer to fight Tom Aspinall. He says that at nearly 40 years old, he feels he has more to lose than gain by continuing to fight. Jones adds that his return from retirement is motivated by the opportunity to be at the White House, not by any matchup with Aspinall or Pereira.
I really have gotten to a point in fighting where I feel as if I'm in a position that I have a lot more to lose than to gain. That's just me being honest. That's not being a coward or whatever. That's just the truth. I'm almost 40 years old now in a combat sport, a very physical sport.
Yeah.
I have to do things that make the right decision, and fighting just to continue fighting doesn't make sense to me anymore. I feel as if I can earn money outside of punching people.
Yeah.
And to challenge myself in that way means more to me now than to fight again. But to be at the White House is the reason why I'm out of retirement. It has nothing to do with Aspinall or Pereira or anybody. It was the White House. The idea of being a part of something so historical means more to me than a few extra $1 million or another win in the win column.
Yeah.
It means the world to me.
Jon Jones shares that his motivations have shifted and are no longer the same as most fighters. He acknowledges that turning down $30 million would be unthinkable for many, but his priorities are different now. Being at the White House is a personal milestone for him and holds far more value than any fight.
I've never been to the White House. I've had many opportunities to go and visit the White House. I've never taken anyone up on it, but to compete there, to warm up inside of the White House, and to
walk out through the Oval Office.
I think they said it would be on the South Lawn.
Yeah, I think you would walk out through the Oval Office into the South Lawn.
It would earn me some major points with my friends too. I'm friends with some of our country's top military veterans, and I know that they would find it to be very, very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. So for me, it's like some of my motivations aren't traditional anymore. I don't think I care about what most fighters would care about.
Yeah.
Most fighters wouldn't turn down $30 million. They just wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
My goals are different than other people's at these days.
Yeah.
And White House would be something for my personal bucket list that would just do me a lot.
Yeah, life is...
Jon Jones explains that his choice to fight Pereira over Aspinall is about legacy. He wants a fight that will be remembered for years, not just a matchup that seems impressive in the moment. In Brazil, Pereira is an absolute idol and carries a unique energy and brand that will leave a lasting mark. Jones contrasts this with other fighters, noting that even after close fights, some are quickly written off while Pereira's impact will endure far beyond a few years.
It's a more matter of legacy. What would make more sense?
Yep.
Do you fight the guy who is impressive right now, who no one I don't think is going to really care about a few years from now? Or do you fight the guy who's going to be remembered around the world for a very long time? I mean, in Brazil, Pereira is an absolute idol right now. Pereira, literally, one of the only things he says is trauma.
Yeah.
And people are, trauma! No one even knows what it means.
Yeah.
But he has that it factor, and that's a part of the reason why I wanted to compete against Pereira. The brand that he represents, the energy that he has behind him, will be remembered more than just 5 years from now.
Yeah.
For example, Aspinall just had a close fight, and people are already writing him off.
Yeah.
However, Dana White has made it clear that Jon Jones will not be part of the UFC White House card after backing out of the fight with Tom Aspinall. He explains that a deal was in place, but Jones later chose not to go through with it. White emphasizes that he needs fighters who honor their commitments and can be relied on for such high-profile events.
Are you saying no to Jones? What's the...
I haven't said yes or no to anybody yet, but I can't put Jon Jones in a position where he can,
Right. You can't let this get canceled.
I had a deal with him. We had a deal to fight Tom Aspinall.
Really?
Yeah, we had a deal.
What happened?
And he said, you know what, I'm not going to do it.
He didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Did he
I
give a
can't
reason?
be in that position. I got to have somebody,
Earlier, Jon Jones apologized to Dana White and reflected on the Aspinall situation with regret. He admits he mishandled their verbal agreement, acknowledging that nothing was officially signed, but still feeling responsible for how it unfolded. Jones says he is giving White some space for now, but hopes to speak with him in person soon to offer a personal apology.
I think my most immediate goal is to try to be on the White House card.
Okay.
And
You talking to Dana? How's he feeling?
I'm giving Dana his space. Dana has changed my life.
Yes, he
He
has.
has changed my life. He's changed my children's lives.
Yeah.
I'm forever grateful to him. And we had a verbal agreement that didn't go over well. Nothing was finalized. I do admit guilt, not guilt, but I was wrong.
You'll make it right at the White House.
The way things went down, I was wrong, and I wish that I could see him face to face and just apologize to him, and so that we can let bygones be bygones and get back to making some major money for the sport and really entertaining these fans. When he's feeling me, I think I'm one of his favorite fighters.
Yeah.
When he's not feeling me, I'm probably the reason why he has a bald head.
Yeah, that's probably why you are.
Dana White accepted Jon Jones's apology, but still refused to add him to the White House card. He explains that despite their ups and downs over the years, he still considers Jones the greatest of all time. White adds that people may laugh at the statement, but working with Jones has always been a unique experience.
I see he said he wanted to apologize to you. Are you in an accepting mood of that apology?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, he doesn't need to apologize to me for anything. Even through all the bad stuff that John and I have gone through, I still say that Jon Jones is the greatest of all time because it's a fact. It has nothing to do. Everybody starts laughing when I say it. Jon Jones is the greatest of all time. Period. End of story. I know it, and everybody else knows it. So there's nothing for John to apologize about. Dealing with John over the last however many years has been a unique experience, I can tell you that, but it doesn't change the fact that he's the best ever.
On the other hand, Alex Pereira also wants to face Jon Jones next at the White House card and is ready to move up a division.
Alex, you're looking great. Who do you want to fight next?
Jon Jones, Watch House, Sherma.
John, what do you have to say about that?
Jon Jones explains his approach to beating Alex Pereira. He says he will need to be smart and use what's in front of him. Jones highlights the biggest difference between Pereira and Aspinall is the amount of footage available. Pereira posts every sparring session, and his full kickboxing career can be studied. Jones plans to analyze Pereira's tendencies in combinations, counters, and defense to find the gaps he can exploit inside the cage.
Some of my motivations aren't traditional anymore. I don't think I care about what most fighters would care about.
Yeah.
Most fighters wouldn't turn down $30 million. They just wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
My goals are different than other people's at these days. It's a more matter of legacy. What would make more sense?
Yeah.
Do you fight the guy who is impressive right now, who no one I don't think is going to really care about a few years from now? Or do you fight the guy who's going to be remembered around the world for a very long time? I mean, in Brazil, Pereira is an absolute idol right now. Pereira, literally, one of the only things he says is chama.
Yeah.
And people are, chama! No one even knows what it means.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the spotlight is currently on Islam Makhachev, who has just won his second UFC belt at UFC Qatar with a dominant win over JDM. MMA pros acknowledged Islam's win and believe he should be on the GOAT list now. Arman Tsarukyan expresses surprise at Islam Makhachev's performance at UFC 322. He says the fight highlights the level Islam is competing at and notes that he is performing on a completely different plane. Tsarukyan adds that he doesn't see anyone capable of stopping Makhachev, even at 170 pounds.
I'm sure you watched the fight. What was your reaction to what Islam accomplished on Saturday?
Very good performance. I was shocked how he beat so easy Madalena. It says what's Islam level, he's doing different level right now. He's on his prime.
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought that fight would be a lot closer.
And I don't know who can stop him right now. The 170 even.
Arman Tsarukyan shared that watching Islam Makhachev fight JDM felt like a champion facing an amateur. He explains that Islam is on a completely different level and is far ahead of everyone else right now. Tsarukyan adds that even at 170 pounds, Makhachev will be very difficult to beat. Arman Tsarukyan said, "I was super impressed when I was watching the fight. It was kind of a champion fighting an amateur. Islam showed a different level. Islam is way better than everybody right now. He's really pound for pound, and at 170, it's going to be difficult to beat him there." Meanwhile, Matt Brown thinks Jack Della Maddalena's corner made things harder for him in the loss to Islam Makhachev at UFC 322. He feels the coaches kept trying to hype Jack up, even though he was already giving his all. Brown believes it would have been better for the corner to help him stay calm and focused rather than push him harder.
I know cornering, you can blow it out of proportionally how much advice you're going to get in that 1 minute period, but I know you mentioned that. What are his coaches doing?
Yeah, it seemed very odd to me. They were just trying to fire him up the whole time. And I was like, bro, he can be fired up as he wants. If he doesn't start doing something different, it's not gonna help. He's fighting hard as hell, right? He's grimacing the whole time. He's squeezing hard as he can, fighting against those submissions hard as he can. The guy is giving it his all. Telling him to give it more is not gonna help a single thing. If anything, tell him to relax a little bit. And
Ian Gary also criticizes JDM's team for being unprepared against Islam Makhachev. He says Jack and his camp didn't seem ready for a world title fight and adds that their preparation was almost non-existent. Ian Gary said, "I don't want to sound negative about it, but Jack and his team didn't look prepared. I don't know if anyone told them they had a world title defense. It was almost non-existent." Ian Gary was confident that JDM would make excuses rather than accept his loss to Islam Makhachev. He says JDM will likely blame something else instead of admitting, "I wasn't good enough," and doubts he has the mindset to take full responsibility for the defeat.
Because there was a lot of anguish on his face on the ground. There was a lot of
I think he'd never felt the pressure like that in his life and felt ridiculously uncomfortable. But I guarantee there's going to be excuses. He's going to come up with some excuse and try to tell himself that it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It could never have been me. I'm a world champion. I'm going to blame it on something else because it's far too hard to sit there and point the finger at myself and go, I wasn't good enough. So he'll never do that. I don't believe JDM's man enough to point the finger at himself and say, I wasn't good enough.
However, JDM's coach, Ben Vickers, proved him wrong and praised Islam Makhachev for his performance, saying it solidifies his legacy as one of the greatest. He admits that while his past predictions have mostly come true, Islam outperformed expectations this time. He adds that Islam and his team executed a perfect game plan, calling it a masterful performance that cements Islam's status as likely the GOAT.
I'd really like to praise Islam for his performance. You can make yourself look an idiot when you come on podcasts and predict things and they don't happen. I believed in everything I said. And obviously, it didn't come true this time. But for 10 years, pretty much everything I've said has come true. So I'm going to stand by what I say. And yeah, this time I got egg on my face and I look a bit silly for some of the things I've said. But at no point do I feel I was disrespectful towards the other side. I just said how I believe the fight would go down. And they put together a masterful game plan. And Islam executed that game plan to perfection, and I can give them nothing but props. And congratulations to him on cementing his legacy as probably the GOAT.
Ben Vickers explains how fighting Islam Makhachev improved Jack's submission defense. He says the fight gave Jack confidence that he no longer needs to worry as much about submissions. This could make him more dangerous on the feet, as he may come straight at opponents and focus on striking. The coach adds that the bulletproof submission defense is a valuable tool they can build on moving forward.
Yeah, and I think the benefit of the Makhachev fight is Jack can kind of feel like he doesn't need to worry about submissions anymore, which might be bad for everyone else because it will mean that he's going to unload even more on the feet, And instead of being the guy that floats around and picks people apart and the death by 1,000 cuts guy, you might find a motivated Jack who's pissed off, who's just going to run after people. Not run after people. We'll always use good footwork and technique and stuff like that. Beautiful violence is what we're searching for. But maybe Jack's a man that instead of waiting for you and trying to get you on the counter now, maybe he's going to come straight at you. and just try and hit you in the face as hard as he can and back his skills on the ground. You know, we're not discouraged by what happened on the floor. Yeah, he got held down, he couldn't get back up again, and that is disappointing, and we do need to work on that. But you know, the bulletproof submission defense is something that we can use moving forward.
Meanwhile, there are a lot of rumors that JDM got injured during the fight ad. That's why he was looking miserable. Demetrius Johnson is also one of them who felt JDM wasn't physically good during the Islam-Makhachev clash. He notices Jack grimacing throughout the fight and thinks it usually signals an injury.
The grimace on his face, I feel there's something wrong. I felt like he was not 100% in this fight. I could be wrong, but something tells me, man making a face like that all the time in all the whole fight, he was probably battling an injury.
However, JDM's coach clarifies that Jack wasn't injured in the Islam fight. He explains that when a fighter commits to a fight, there are no excuses. The coach says Jack was fully ready, and he was confident in his training and preparation. He adds that as a coach, he takes full responsibility for the fight's outcome.
When you commit to having a fight, it doesn't matter what the fuck's wrong with you. If anything was, and I'm not going to confirm or deny anything. When we decided to step in the cage, we believed Jack could win that fight. So, you know, that's all I'm going to say. There are no excuses here. We didn't do enough on the day to get the job done, and that is it. I'm not going to be the guy that wants his students' finest moment to be a close loss or get into a decision. It's not good enough. Like, that's not what we're in this game for. We're winners, you know, and we want to win. So I sit here and make no excuses. Jack was ready, and I was confident Jack was going to win. And I was confident we trained him and put him in the right place. And you know what? As coach, I take full responsibility. It's my job to make sure everything's right, everything's proper, and Jack's in the best place. And maybe I didn't do a good enough job this time.
Furthermore, Nick Barnhill believes Jack Della Maddalena made a key error against Islam Makhachev. He explains that although Islam dominated on the ground, Jack should have focused on striking once he got back to his feet. Instead, Jack kept attempting trips and takedowns, which worsened his position. Barnhill notes that going for those moves after being worn down shows a lower fight IQ, leaving Jack exposed to a superior grappler and ultimately trapped against the cage with Islam on top.
What drove me crazy is, of course, we knew Islam had the advantage on the ground. Jack should have had the advantage on the feet. The couple of times that Jack did finally get back up to his feet, he went for some sort of trip, whether it was an inside leg or outside leg or a hip toss. He was looking to take Islam back to the ground, and that just shows you a lower fight IQ than what we've seen out of Jack. I'm not going to say he's not a smart fighter. He's a very good fighter. But when you see a guy like that with no answers on the feet and no answers on the ground, but less answers on the ground, you have to understand, look, if you have the chance to get to your feet, you have to fight like hell to create distance. You cannot take him back down. You will wind up in a worse position if you get back up to your feet after being tired and beat up on the ground for a couple minutes by Islam, and then you try to trip him. I mean, there's footage of him. They were literally in the worst position possible up against the fence. Jack's head is on the ground, his legs are in the air, his back is up against the cage, and Islam's on top of him. Like, that's the kind of position you wind up in if you're an inferior grappler going against a guy like that, and you finally get to your feet, and then you go for that kind of thing. It was just not the approach I would have wanted to see out of him.
Robert Whitaker highlights the depth of the welterweight division, making upcoming fights unpredictable.
It's so hard to say who he fights next because both welterweight fights put on a spectacle.
I know.
They put on a show. And honestly, it could be a flip of the coin. Like, in a perfect world, in a world of rules and regulations, the higher ranked guy would just get the fight. Both guys put on an excellent showing. But what actually happens, who knows? Is anybody's guess.
Either you have Michael Morales versus Islam Makhachev, or you have Michael Morales versus Carlos Prates for the #1 contender fight. But then I'm thinking about that, and I'm like, hold on, if Carlos Prates wins and Ian Gary beats Bilal Muhammad, how is that fair to Ian Gary? Because he just beat Carlos Prates. Welterweight is crazy, and not to mention Kamaru Usman and Shavkat Rakhmonov are just lurking in the wings. I don't know what you do. This division's stacked, bro. It's crazy.
And not to mention, Islam just asked for a White House fight. You know, who do you put him against for a card that big, monumental? I don't know. I do not have the answers.
Yeah. That's all we have from today's video, and we hope you enjoyed it. Share your thoughts in the comments section, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing MMA videos.